I can hear you.
Okay.
Hot.
I can't hear there's no sound. Stop sound. I Nothing, nothing, nothing.
Audition. Turn it up. Same thing for her.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Huh?
I can hear you
Let's
now.
see.
I can hear you.
The commercials.
Okay.
I hear that.
I can hear you.
Dr. E, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes. Can I can hear you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Audition.
How we doing?
We good. Don't touch
No,
nothing.
listen. Oh, Christ be the king.
Yeah.
Hi.
Oh,
You hear it?
it's echoing.
Where your headphones?
Okay, hold on. Mm. Hello?
Hi.
Is this better?
I'm still here.
Yeah, I hear
See-
the
see
echo
no-
too. You said go to settings.
See, no. See, I'm getting echo. She's-
The echo cancellation is on though. See.
that's not
Pardon
us.
me?
I just used it. Let me see.
Shut.
Yeah, who's getting ahead? Who's getting ahead? They're getting an echo?
Dog.
Hello. Hello, 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 hello.
Why is this open twice?
I know. That's what it is.
I'll keep talking. I can hear you. I can hear you. I can hear you. Testing.
Sure what this
Testing.
is. Where did this come
Minute?
from? Oh, it opened twice. That's number one. This is open twice.
Well, I see the genius figured it out. It's open twice.
Oh.
Is it better? Is it better? Is it better? Is it better? Is it better?
Yeah, it's open
Yep.
The
twice.
genius figured it out.
You kids
Hi,
are so naughty.
stranger.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him in so long.
Say hi, stranger. She hasn't seen you in so long.
What's that? You doing all right?
Yeah.
I
Okay.
say yes. I didn't have to even look at you. Okay. All right. Here we go, darling. Come on, come on. Okay, here we go. Hot 91.7, your mega hit station. Niles Barkley, aka CeeLo Green, right there with Crazy. We've got Dr. E in the house. It's a Wellness Wednesday. It's the mental health check. Good afternoon to you, Doc. It's good to have you, or whoever you are. Whoever you are. Thank you, lady, for passing through. You know, every time, like I said, you're like a box of chocolate. We ain't quite sure what we can get.
Exactly. You have to,
Look at you.
my client said yesterday, how men say they always want a woman. It's, a different flavor. Just put on a different wig. It's a different girl. You have different girlfriends.
Check you out. Look,
And tomorrow it'll be something new because I already decided I only want to do this today, and tomorrow I feel like doing something else. So you gotta wake up. I dress how I feel. Now I'm starting to wear my hair how I feel too.
Okay, so what is today? What is today? What do you feel, Marilyn? You're channeling your inner Marilyn Monroe. What is it?
It's so funny that my client just wanted to say, "Oh, we're calling this one Rose." I was like, "Okay, I don't know why, but
why ain't nothing pink, red, nothing about it."
I think they were going for more of like the Betty White kind of. I don't know but I like Marilyn. I like that, like Marilyn Monroe.
Now that makes sense, right?
I'm not, because we were trying to find a name, so I like that.
Marilyn.
Hello. Hi, thanks for having me. How are you doing?
It's good to have. Anytime you come around, it's like it's a good feeling. It's a really good feeling, and I'm thankful for you on another Wellness Wednesday, and of course the mental health check. I think that's what we. This one say I still say storm. Okay, all right, Dr.
Storm.
E. Storm. You like that, hey?
Mm-hmm. Yes, storm.
I figured that. I figured. So where are we mentally in the 242? What we checking on today?
Look, I don't know, because some of the stories I had as of late, last time I didn't blow your mind with some of the different types of relationships we have in this country.
Yes.
So I don't know what we get to talk about today.
Can I tell you about a situation I had yesterday on a Trapsy Tuesday? And I'm thinking, I was just having a conversation. Somebody called me on my way to work just now to find out, because they said they couldn't listen to the entire show yesterday, but it was like a soap opera. They're like, so what happened in the end? Right. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's cool. What happened was, and like I said, some serious things are going on in the 242 that kind of, go unnoticed. But this was a situation where a young lady found out that her husband was having an affair with his boss. His boss was the one who told the story. She told the wife, listen, I'm in love with your husband in love with me. Yes, we understand that you're pregnant with twins. I gonna need to have one of them because I ain't trying to mess up my body, right? I ain't trying to mess up my body. Since you're already in that state, just give me one of them. Here's what I'll do for you. Since you ain't get it like that, because your husband don't have it like that, right? He works for me. I got the money. Let me buy you a house. Right? In your name, in exchange for one of the babies. So
now, this wasn't a legal agreement. I was taking it because I get in the house. You don't put me through enough stress.
No, but no, think about, you have to understand, Dr. E, that when you're pregnant, your emotional stability is on the line. Right?
So your life is on the line.
Yes, that more importantly, you are in the third trimester where your hormones are haywire. And you decided that, like she said to me, a light bulb went off in her head, like a real opportunity. And she decided to play the game. She got them to put the title in her name.
Right.
And just hers. And the dummies did not sign a contract with her. Right. So at the end of the day, when she called them to say the water break, and she called them for all the doctor visits, and I'm thinking that took a different level of mental stability. Right. She called them when the water broke. They came to the hospital. This is her husband and his sweetheart, aka his boss. Right. And she's like, okay, enough of that bonding foolishness now. Which one of these babies is mine? Right. And she's like, none.
Absolutely.
She said, well, we have an agreement. She said, where is it? Where the writing? It's not etched in stone.
And the house paid off?
House paid off, gal.
You know,
Yeah.
while she may need some therapy now, that was a
Yes.
boss move. That was a boss move. I don't think that, because you got to think, because honestly, that was a very fragile state for anybody to come
Thank
to
you.
anybody
And that's
in.
my point. I'm saying to her, you can't be all well in the head
Oh, no way.
afterwards, right? I'll give you another one just for you to work with it, right? We had a situation on another Tropsy Tuesday where a wife did her endeavor best to give her husband the biggest 50th birthday party ever.
Mm-hmm.
A cake is delivered by one of these delivery companies, right? The wife
Already
gets
know
the
the story.
cake, yes, gets the cake and thinking, okay, maybe it's one of his family members deciding to add to this very extravagant cake display. When she opens it, and she deliberately brought the cake to the table for cutting because it was so big, you don't want to be stuck with all of this cake. So you want to make sure all your guests get some of this cake. When she opened the box, it was the decoration was a screenshot of the messages between her husband and his sweetheart. And the verbiage was, I tired of her, don't worry about it, I soon leave, she all that anyway. And this is how she found out. So I'm thinking about all these situations where mentally people are at stake.
They are. Their lives are literally on the line in so many ways. And while to go through all that effort is a lot, I understand why they would do things like these, because they need to feel a sense of control again. So I feel like that's a power play, right? They're trying to get a sense of power back. So if I humiliate you like you've been humiliating me and maybe lying to me, then I feel a sense of control.
Right.
But after you go through all that, you still need to come to therapy because something ain't right. Like something is not right. That maybe you missed something with this person, or maybe you deluded yourself to think that y'all were going to be together and that they were going to leave their person. I'm told, and I will say this again on your show, if they do not, the papers ain't signed, they're not getting divorced, okay? The likelihood that that person is going to leave their spouse is very, very in the abyss of the earth, okay? I don't care how bad they say in the situation is, because people who want to leave, leave. It's not all this back and forth.
Say that again. No, say that again, because you're always waiting for the quote unquote opportune time or
There's
the
no
right
opportune
time. No?
No, there's no right time to leave. First, people use the excuse of, oh, it's because of the children. I don't want to leave because of the children. First of all, and I will say this 50 million times until I die, the children don't want y'all together because the house is chaotic, okay? And while initially, because this will happen too, a child would tell a parent, initially, I don't want my parents to get divorced because it's new, it's different. And then if you ask them again in a year about that same comment that they made, they'd say, oh no, you need to leave because I see what it means. What y'all decided to do is pretend to stay together for me, and y'all don't like each other. And when y'all get mean at each other, I am the one who usually take it as a child.
Right.
And as much as we like to say it's not going to affect the children, it does. They see everything that happens. So if you don't want to pay for your therapy, save money for them because they will need it.
Ooh.
The other reason people say it's for financial reasons, which I get, which means you need to make a smart move. You need to save up your money. You need to be able to allocate resources, have a place to go to leave. But those are people who are working a plan in action. Not the ones who say they're waiting on money and they ain't doing nothing to get the money. That's two different set of people. The ones who are working to get the money, you ain't seeing them do extra stuff. They can't even date you because they're so busy saving to get out that they don't have no money to do anything extra. So how they could be dating you? They ain't got no house for you to come to, no apartment to come to. They probably share a car. So they need to save their money.
I'm just thinking about, mentally, where is that young lady from yesterday? I mean, here it is, going through pregnancy is enough, but to decide to play that kind of game where and not stab the husband right in his forehead. You know what I mean? Because here it is, you're siding with this woman to try to take one of our children so that y'all can play dolly house. That's enough to drive somebody off the wall.
There is no way that person could love you. And let me tell you why. Because if you love somebody, one of the things love comes with is protection. Okay? And how are you going to protect a person you're literally trying to destroy? Because a person who is pregnant, and I don't know if we talk about it this way, we always say the beauty of pregnancy, oh, you look so good, look at your glow, you're growing, everything looks nice. Any doctor will tell you pregnancy is 1 foot in earth and 1 foot in the grave.
Yes.
Because you're hoping that when you give birth, that whatever happens in that process, it's a healthy process. It's a very scary process that any doctor will tell you because they don't know what could happen. It takes a lot. It literally takes, it could take your human life to produce a life.
Yeah, and let's be real.
And not one, it's twins. So you know you double getting
double trouble.
inside.
Yeah, because what it does to you physically is one thing, but let's talk about the mental aspect of it. You know, pregnancy.
And you probably already going through post. You could go through prepartum stuff too, right? We always think about postpartum, but the fact that you have two aliens growing inside of you, taking all of your resources. So mentally, you already forgetting stuff way before you gave birth. You're already trying to get comfortable, which you're already uncomfortable because two people like beating you up constantly.
Invaded your space, yes.
And then on top of it, you probably worried constantly about your health and conditions like that. And now mentally, you're trying to tell me I got to worry about this person who said that they were going to spend the rest of their life with me and protect me, who are now saying, oh, have the babies and let me have one of them to go with the other woman. I don't even know how another woman could bring themselves to have that conversation with a woman. Because in my mind, something wrong with her. Something is very wrong with her.
Yeah.
Unless we missing some parts of the story with the husband and the wife, something is wrong with the side chick. The side chick boss.
Well, what was told to me is that because of her position financially, right? She's a boss. You know what I mean? She's a boss chick with boss chick actions, and her whole disposition is that you are beneath me.
Oh, and I can have what I want.
Right. I can have what I want, including your husband. And she did exactly that.
Baby, and you would have him, and then I was going to get divorced. And not only was I going to name you in the papers,
right,
with the adultery, because we need to stop avoiding that, to put them in the papers, because that's what our divorce law does. When it's adultery, you got to name the person, you got to serve the person, and you could even summons them to come to court. Okay?
Really?
Our divorce law, when it comes to adultery, is very specific.
Oh,
so I would be filing for divorce. And she had divorce on so many grounds, not only adultery, but she had it on cruelty. Like the list, probably at least 3 of the 4, I think she could probably
mental cruelty for sure.
Oh my gosh. But I don't know how another woman could ask a woman to do that. I think that she would give up her child, and the husband too. I would like to really know what is going on in his mind, because if this woman already trying to boss you out of one of your children, so you think if y'all two get together, she ain't gonna take the child from you if she don't want to be with you anymore?
Right.
Like, I'd like to know the logic behind this.
You know, he's obviously wasn't thinking that far, because we're going to be together forever with.
She can fire you. She have grounds to fire you, because the likelihood that a boss gets fired over the subordinate is very, very low.
Yeah, but what was striking to me is that both of them were so dumb not to have their names included on the title of this home.
So how boss can she be? That's the part I don't understand. She must be like, she's smart at work but dumb in real life, because that's what it sounds like.
It's possible. We know that there are many cases like that where, you know, you're book smart in some and you're street smart you're not. And this is one of those situations.
I applaud the wife for thinking through this and getting what she needed for her and her children. I really hope she can maintain that, but she definitely needs to get some therapy, because I'm sure she has to be going through postpartum. Having a child is one thing. Having multiple, most people who go through multiple pregnancies.
Now by yourself.
Right. It's one of the worst experiences ever post, especially if you don't have help. Right. And I mean constant help, because when you might put one kid down, the next kid may be crying. So there's this constant 24/7 thing of somebody needing you. And imagine not having anybody there with you to do that.
Right.
So you don't even know the next time you're gonna take a shower or change your clothes even.
Yes, absolutely.
And so, and now on top of it, you have to fight with somebody who's attempting to possibly take your child away. Because here's the other thing, the dad does still technically have rights, right? And I hope they don't, like, they could do weird stuff. What if they decide to come in this house one night and take one of the children for real?
Yeah, all of that is a possibility. And that's why I'm saying mentally, this is, it was it even worth that? And that was my question. Is it even worth the house? Because at the end of the day, now you have somebody who may very well torment you for the rest of your life until you decide that, you know what, you're going to give up this house or give up one of them babies.
You know what I was going to do? Wife, I hope you listening. I was going to file for divorce, sell the house, but I was going to sell the house first. I was going to sell, actually, no, I was going to file for divorce, sell the house, and I would file for divorce first so that you could claim that you can't sell the house because you need the house for the children. And if you have a really good lawyer, they'll be able to fight that so you don't owe this man no money in selling and in the house at all. Then I was going to sell the house and I was going to move somewhere. And the only way if we ever had to do like a kid exchange, which you could avoid doing anyway, because they wasn't gonna know where I live. They wasn't gonna be able to find us.
You see, what I suggested, right, was to make sure that you have all of your proof,
ducks in a row,
all the ducks in a row, where you're showing where these people were trying
to kidnap your child,
buy your child.
Yeah. And that's how she could get full custody without contact too.
Exactly.
Because there would only have to be supervised custody, supervised visitation with the children. Because by law, if he fights, he'll get a little bit of visitation. But if you have a really good therapist, write a really good letter for you, you'd be good to go. Because you need a letter. You need a letter that says that I'm in fear and there's an imminent danger to my children. And that's one thing our laws do protect is children if we know how to enact the law. So I would not know, these people would not know where I live. The only way we would get visits, it would be to some, and there's places like this. You could go to social services and we would have to visit at social services. And when I'm leaving and everything, I would create enough distance that they don't know where we going and what we doing.
This one says the house was for emotional damage, but isn't this house now emotionally damaging?
It is emotion. You can imagine walking around this house and thinking about
how you accumulated this house.
That's why I couldn't stay in the house. I was getting the house and I was going to, the day they give me the house in the deed, I was turning it over to a realtor and I was saying, sell that house and I need the cash. And I need you to actually turn the house into a corporation so they can't even get the money from me because you got to make some smart moves.
Right.
And sell it and put the money in trust to the children or something like that. So nobody could touch nothing.
What have you been seeing lately in your practice? You know, every time you come on, I want to know, what are people, I mean, this was just one story. What are you seeing more of daily?
I think one of the biggest things actually I've been seeing
are they relationship driven?
A lot more individual issues lately than relationship issues. Okay. I would say the last few weeks. One of the biggest individual issues I'm seeing is especially for female entrepreneurs. They're struggling. They're struggling with a sense of community and that feeling of trying to get everything done all the time by themselves and with the toll that takes. And feeling like you can't explain that to somebody who's not an entrepreneur. Because entrepreneur language to me is different than everyday language for someone who works a 9 to 5. Because I will tell you, and any entrepreneur can relate to this, there's sometimes where you are restless and you don't know why, but you're in bed resting. And it's because you constantly have to think about what's next. How am I going to pivot? How am I going to do all these things? And talking to somebody from 9 to 5, they're like, oh, go get a job. When it's in your blood, in your spirit, that getting a job thing don't make any sense. That just doesn't make sense. I think
for you, yeah.
Right. And so feeling a sense of community, because there's usually nobody there doing it with you, so it feels lonely. The 1 or 2 relationship stuff I've had lately is before people get married, I really realized there needs to be some serious conversations about how we're going to do marriage, not the wedding. Because I have kind of a client right now fighting about the wedding part. And I'm like, if this is how y'all doing, I'm really concerned. And I said it just like this. I'm really concerned about the marriage. Y'all worried about the wedding and spending money on this day that don't make no sense to me. and y'all trying to do things like build a house at the same time, that's a lot of change that could really impact a pending marriage. And y'all ain't got no big stake of money. Ain't nobody else want to buy you a house. You doing it yourself.
Right.
And so premarital counseling is a key to understanding how you're going to communicate through this. Because if you're not learning it now, it's not going to happen after y'all get married. I mean, as simple as the fact that they can't even agree on the drawings for the house.
Wow. Wow.
Or where the wedding is going to be, right? It's little things like that. And one person really wants to elope. The other person wants to have a wedding. And so, you know, who are we pleasing? Are we pleasing the masses? Because, you know, weddings for some people are a symbol of social status, right? If I have this wedding and I show these people that I have kind of, I guess, made it to marriage, that I'm doing a good thing. But I'll tell people this. The people on your wedding day, if you can't see them after your wedding day trying to help and support your marriage, you shouldn't be inviting them to your wedding.
One more time.
The people who you invite on your wedding day, if they're not going to support your marriage, that means when things are going rough, when you need somebody to remind you of your vows or to remind you of the commitment and the work you need to do in the marriage, don't invite them on your wedding day. Don't invite people who will shelter you. Because the other thing is, I have a client who every time them and their spouse get into an argument, they run home. And home is an open access door where they'll say, oh, stay as long as you want. What do you mean?
No.
There should be a limit. If a grown married person is coming back home, baby, you got 24 to 48 hours before you need to get back out of my house and into your marital home. You need to figure it out.
Yes.
This is not a shelter place. You have to learn to communicate through the ups and downs of marriage. People always want a grand wedding. I love to see the pictures. I look at them all the time because I see plenty of the pictures of people in therapy right now.
You know what? I'm taking a quick break. Dr. E, back in your corner. We're going to take a quick break right here. This is Free Your Mind on a Wellness Wednesday right here. And it only happens right here on your mega hit station. We're Hot 91. Hot 91.7, your mega hit station. Yes, indeed. Free your mind on a Wellness Wednesday. Dr. E in for the mental health check. And boy, let me tell you something. The things that we take for granted, especially in our culture, when it comes to weddings, we don't necessarily, you talk about possible prenups, you talk about counseling. How many people actually come and see, a therapist when it comes to the premarital counseling? Do you even recommend that, Dr. E?
Oh, I 100% recommend it. But the amount of people that actually come, I would say it's probably, I want to say 25% or less than those getting married. And so we have about 75% people out there just, living on air. They hoping for the best, literally. And I really hope that they have had the strong conversations because maybe they did something beyond premarital. And please understand that there is a difference between religious premarital counseling and a trained mental health professional. Okay? Because
wait. Back it up, because I don't think I've ever heard anyone put it out there that there is a fundamental difference between what kind of counseling you should solicit before marriage.
Okay.
It's always about the church.
Right. So typically, if you're going through a church wedding, what they would do is most churches, not all, most churches would have a standard that you would have to be seen by the pastor, minister for at least sometimes 2 to 4 sessions before the church will be able to marry you, because that's usually a standard. And in those type of counseling, what they will go over with you, they'll go over like biblical meaning of marriage. They will go over certain scriptures that, like marital people should adhere to from a religious context.
Right.
What we do, and when I'm saying going to a trained mental health professional, preferably someone who specializes in marriage and family therapy, but other mental health professional therapists will do it as well. We're trained to ask you the questions about the developmental changes that we know through people go through with relationships. How to deal with communication, how to deal with conflict, because conflict will happen when you have 2 individuals coming together. How to deal with roles within the relationship, how to have conversations about finance, how to have discussions about just healthcare and hygiene. Let me tell you how big hygiene is. I know people who've gotten divorced over hygiene, okay?
Never. Stop it.
I'm telling you, I'm not making this up. I know people who I call them the posers, the ones who look really good, they present nice before they get married. And as soon as they get married, they get so comfortable, they let everything go, besides including the belly. So the belly, the back get big. They don't even go and get like their hair cut or their hair done anymore. Don't talk about cutting their nails or something like that. And we won't even go talking about going to a dentist because they don't even know where one is located because they just don't take care of themselves. I mean, literally letting themselves go after the papers are signed. So you got to have those conversations. You also got to have conversations about the extra or external family, the role they're going to play. You want to have conversations about the timeline of things. So a lot of people get married and don't understand that when you get married, you and that person become family. That is your immediate family. Anyone extra, as what I call them, are what you call your external family. That would be your parents. That would be your cousins, whatever, like that. That's extra family or your external family. They are not your immediate family anymore. Because remember this, when you get married, you give that person the authority to pull the plug on your life, okay? And I like to say it like that because people don't like to think about marriage in that term. Ask yourself, because I have a client I just got off a session with, and they're the person they know who about to get married who really shouldn't be getting married because they actually love with somebody else, but they don't want to be honest with themselves about it because the marriage in a month, and it's easier to say let's continue this rather than tell the truth.
Say that again. They want to be with somebody else, but it's easier just say it again.
Okay, let me put it like this. Please. Let's say Rebecca and Steve work at the same office.
Okay.
Over the last 6 months, they become really close to the point where they realize, like, they actually like each other and they have lots of things in common. And so
Right.
they start hanging out, doing those things in common platonically. Like, let's say it is going bowling, right? They realize, oh, we both like bowling. Let's join we both on the same
Bowling.
league, right? But Steve is already engaged to Sarah. He's been engaged to Sarah.
Oh, so a might as well situation then.
A might as well. But every day, every night he on the phone with Rebecca until 3:00 in the morning.
But he's still getting married to Sarah because they're already
getting married to Sarah because the wedding is next month. He don't spend time with Sarah.
Here's the problem with that. Rebecca, that's the one who we work with, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca is going to be with him the night before the wedding and send him off to his wedding. She got iron his boxes.
Oh, I had a client anyway who did that. Lord. The next day found out the person was married, but she didn't know they was getting married. That's a whole nother story. But
that's a common story though. They
very common story.
Until Facebook posted the pictures, until somebody posted the pictures.
I'll tell my own story on this one, how I saw this guy I used to date in a club years ago. We didn't see each other for years. We used to like date in college. Then I saw him years later. We were hanging out in the club talking, dancing, even a little making out. Next, he tried to get me to go home. I decided, I ain't seen you in a long time. I know how dirty you is, right? Next week, dude, wedding pictures was posted. That's when I was reminded, boy, these people can kill. Like, literally, the suit, looking crisp in his suit.
Yes.
Wedding pictures the next Saturday.
Yes. That's, that's funny. It's a common story. I could recall in doing this show in the last umpteen years, how many times person tells stories of spending what they thought was a regular Friday night or Thursday night with they boo, only to find out that Saturday morning they were walking in the church.
Right.
It's a regular story.
It's crazy.
What does it do to one mentally, though?
I think it beats you down. It makes you question your self-esteem and self-worth. I think it does. It makes you like apprehensive about relationships. And then on the dark side of it, it could turn you into a monster. I've seen people literally turn into like very
nasty, mean people.
Nasty, mean, empty people. They turn empty in relationships where they will start sometimes gaslighting you and love bombing you because it was done to them so many times and they feel like they need retribution for the other souls because somehow this has happened to them so many times before. So it really has to be a situation where I want people to understand that when you're playing with somebody's emotions, it is a very, very delicate thing to do. And a lot of us don't take into consideration how impactful that is. We just think that we want to have a good time.
Right.
And I'll tell you, with the stories we have lately of I don't know, I think it's kind of, I want to say it's slowed down in the news circuit, but it's still happening. But I don't know if you remember like a year or two ago, we used to have a lot of stories about like cars getting destroyed, people running people over for reasons. Of course. Or the fact that this person killed the other person in some lover's quarrel or some rage of something. I don't think we value enough how much we can hurt another person when we're not being honest about where we are at in the relationship.
Yes, that's a topic all by itself. We need to definitely explore.
And we got to do it.
That level of honesty.
And it's very important that we really just tell the truth. You'd be surprised. I've told this to clients before who are, dating multiple people. I said, be honest with them. Tell them what's going on. You'd be surprised at how many people will still agree to the same terms with honesty than they would with a lie because you didn't take away their choice. Stop taking away a person's choice.
That's the key right there. That's the key. Because like you said, some people will still sign on and then people, just because of your honesty. But then the thing is, we don't think about, how it's going to affect the person when they find out the truth.
Exactly. Like I had a client recently who got married to somebody, and it's kind of similar to this person's question. They got married to someone from they're Bahamian. They got married to somebody who was non-Bahamian, and once a year they get to go home to their home country. For like a month. First of all, I didn't know you could go away for a month. That had nothing to do with deployment.
Anyway.
You could go away for a month. The spouse is not allowed to come.
Oh no, child. Red flag.
Yeah, exactly.
Red flag.
And during that time, you expect them back in 30 days, and all the time they don't come back in 30 days. When you call them, you get them every now and then. And you can't talk to them after a certain time. I said, baby, they were without a family. I said, nobody told you?
So hold on. This person came into therapy because of what it was doing to them, not being able to be in touch with their newlywed husband. Are you kidding me?
This ain't been 2 years yet.
And you were very brutally honest, as I know you would be. And you told them, basically, sweet girl, he has a family.
There's a family.
Okay, so have you found out the truth as yet?
No, but I sent it to. I said, it's time for you to,
hop on a flight.
No, not hop on a flight. Hop to the divorce lawyer. I said, because on top of that, when the person goes home, they don't come back with no money, so you have to pay for their ticket to return.
What? You know what, Blondie? Go back. Goodbye.
I just telling you, and I'm just like, what do you mean?
Are we that delusional?
I think what it is that we wish and hope that our level of honesty in us is what is in the other person. And I need people to stop imposing your personal self onto others.
Ooh.
Just because you are that person does not mean that that person who you're dating, who you're married to, has that same level of self-awareness, self-respect, and self-honesty. Right. No integrity with that. And so stop imposing your potential on them. Stop imposing your beliefs on them. Stop imposing your level of integrity on them, because people are exactly who they are. We make up stories in our minds and create a narrative that does
who we
not
want
exist.
them to be. Absolutely.
All of us can reflect on a relationship at one point in our life, whether it was intimate, familial, or friendship, that we saw visions of a person that did not exist in reality. Our ideal world creates so much delusion that we create false narratives. We have to stop doing it.
Dr. E, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Another Wellness Wednesday in the bag. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And of course, I hope this was definitely an eye-opener for a lot of people out there. All right, so folks, hold that. Top of the hour, 5 o'clock. Your Drive at 5 with DJ AI comes your way right here on your mega hit station. We're Hot 91.
Okay. Oh, yes, this one.
Hold on,
That's a good one.
I got this. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
No.
I can hear you.
I can hear you now. Okay. Yes, it's the headphone. All right. All right, Blondie.
Okay. Yes, the people who get married and then stop having sex. Oh, that's a big one. We can have a whole thing about that.
I've heard people get married and just get sex from spouse after.
I didn't talk to you about the people who get married and their things don't work, or no, they can't have kids. Let's talk about all the lies. You know what?
Okay.
Our next topic is to be all the lies told before marriage.
No, that's been like that.
All right, I'll see you later, hon. Bye.
Thank you, darling. Okay.